Here we are. Let's take a look at this homework, 1.2 in sequences. So first ones, we just want to complete the table by using the pattern. So I've got 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So hopefully what I notice is that I could add 2, but then I'd add 4, then I would add 8. You should notice that I'm actually just doubling these each time. Okay? So 32 times 2, or plus 32, would be 64, then 128, then 256. If I look at number 2, 66 to 50, to 34, to 18, so it looks like I'm subtracting 16. 50 minus 16 is 34, minus 16 is 18, minus 16 would be 2, minus 16, negative 14, minus 16, negative 30, and then negative 46. Okay, number 3, 160 to 80 to 40, so I'm subtracting 80, then 40, then 20, or cutting it in half, or in other words, timesing by a half, either dividing by 2 or timesing by a half. So that would be 10, then 5, then 2.5, 1.25, and so on. Okay, number 4, negative 9 to negative 2 to 5 to 12. So if I add 7, looks like, so that would be 19, then 26, plus 7 would be 33, and then 40. Okay, so just spotting those patterns and then utilizing them. That's all we were really doing right there. Alright, now let's take a look at these patterns, okay? In the pictures below, each square represents one tile. Okay, so step 1, 1 tile, step 2, 4, then 5, 6, 7. Okay, so draw step 4 and 5. So hopefully you can see the pattern is we're basically adding 1 to each piece, right? So the base is 1, then 3, then 5, so this base would be 7. Okay, so I think that's 7. And then I'd go 3 up, wouldn't I? Like that. Okay, so that would be 1, 5, 7, 10, right? No, 5, yeah. Oh, that's 4. That's where I was having issues. 4. So it looks like adding 3 each time, so I know that's going to be 13. So my base here is going to be 9. Eight, 9. Right? So I'd have a middle one and 4 on each side, then 4 up. Okay, like that. So it says the students in class were asked to find the number of tiles in a figure by describing how they saw the pattern of tiles changing at each step. Match each student's way of describing the pattern with the appropriate equation below. Note that S represents the step number and N represents the number of tiles. Okay, so we've got 3 people, and the way they talked about it, that are connecting these formulas with back to this. Okay, so Dan explained that the middle tower is always the same as the step number. Let's see, step 1, 1, step 2, 2, step 3, 3, step 4, 4, step 5, 5. Okay. He also pointed out that the arms on each side of the tower contain 1 less block than the step number. 2 down to 1, 3 down to 2. Alright, so which one of those seems to say that we take the step number and it's always the same, so we would have just S, which I'm seeing this C here, plus we've got 2 arms, so that 2, and it's the step number minus 1, so that would be C. It says Sally counted the number of tiles at each step and made a table. She explained that the number of tiles in each figure was always 3 times the step number minus 2. So we kind of made a table there too, but she's got hers right there. So if I take that 1 times it by 3, that's 3 minus 2 would give us 1. 2 times 3, then minus 2 would be 6 minus 2 is 4. Okay, definitely looks like that's B. Okay, that 3 times the number of steps minus 2. So it makes 8A, but let's double check. Nancy focused on the number of blocks in the base compared to the number of blocks above the base. She said the number of base blocks were the odd numbers starting at 1. Okay, so 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay. The number of tiles above the base followed the pattern 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So she just added those. Okay, so she's adding two separate things. Okay, so that S minus 1, because we start at 1 here, but we had 0, then 2, then 1, then 3. So that would make sense there. And then for an odd number, 2 times S minus 1, the step number doubled, minus 1 would take us to that odd base, and that is true. Okay, there we go on that, guys.